Genesis 33:4 says this: Esau ran to meet Jacob and embraced him and fell on his neck and kissed him, and they wept. In my opinion, this is one of the most powerful examples of how God can and will shape our earthly relationships. So just take a moment and chew on this with me. Genesis 24 and 25. Jacob, instead of protecting his brother in a vulnerable moment, he takes advantage of his brother and he tricks him and he steals from him. In Genesis 27, Jacob, in tandem with his mother, deceives his aging father and yet again tricks and steals from his brother. So how does Esau respond to this? Genesis 27:41. I will kill my brother. That's what Esau said. So hushed plans are made, and Jacob, he gets out of Dodge. And we track Jacob's journey as he has a dream of God's promises in Genesis 28. And we see some of the first instances of Jacob following, trusting in God, worshiping God. And a life of deception catches up to Jacob. So we follow his life and journey of faith, and he meets a girl. He falls in love. And that life of deception catches up because he's deceived by his father-in-law. Many of you know the story. He's even deceived by his wife as she sins against her father, steals from him, leaves Jacob to be accused. In Jacob's journey of faith, we also see him wrestling with God in Genesis 32. So a quick overview of Jacob's life thus far, we can see that he is a deceiving little punk. But he's also a deceptor or a deceiver who's been humbled. He's been humbled by the promises of God made to him. He's been humbled by a dysfunctional family that he's married into. And he's been humbled by wrestling with God. So Jacob, this changed man, he journeys home. And for all these years, God had been doing quite a work in him. We've seen a change in a maturity, a faith, a humility that God has shaped in him. As he travels home with his two wives, with a family, with just a fleet of riches, the question is this: has God been working in my brother as well? Does he still want to kill me? Is forgiveness and restoration, is that available? So many of you know Jacob. He seeks to buy his brother's affection with gifts. He sends gifts to Esau before he makes it there. And the lingering question of Esau's response is very quickly answered. He runs to meet him, embraces him, kisses him, and they weep together. Although Esau's life and journey was unknown to Jacob, even though it's undocumented to us as readers in the scriptures, we see that Esau is a changed man too. So here's the quick point. You may be keenly aware of the journey of faith that you are on right now. You've seen God work in your life. Maybe like Jacob, you've made poor decisions in the past. You've sinned. You've hurt other people. Yet in Christ and trusting in Jesus, you can see personally how God has humbled you, changed you, and brought you to a new kind of life. And because you are human, like Jacob, you likely have fractured relationships from the past. We all have skeletons in the closet, right? So we have fractured relationships that still need mending, like these two brothers. So here's my encouragement to you. Whether you see it or not, trust that the Lord is working, that he's drawing, that he's shaping that other person. Again, remember, you know what's been happening in your mind and heart. You've seen what God's done in your life, but trust that something is happening to the other person, just as it was with Esau. Lead out in faith that the gospel that restores your relationship to God is the same gospel that restores your relationship to those around you. So in your journey, like Jacob, go back to those that you've hurt, and it may take many years as it did with these brothers, but trust that God aims to bring you back, hugging, embracing, kissing, and crying together in joy. Trust that God is working in that other person. Hope that's an encouragement to you.